Okay, everybody, here we go. I believe that we are live. Sometimes this thing, when I click live, it kind of spazzes out a little bit, and yeah, I think we are live. Anyway, this is my post-market wrap-up on this Monday, June 26, 2023. Thank you all for being here with me. I appreciate it. You're amazing, every single one of you. you know, let's start off with this here. What do we know is going on? I always like to talk about what we know. What do we absolutely know is happening? Um, in and in large part, this is happening because of action, obviously, from the Federal Reserve, who runs the economy, who runs the financial markets, who runs the financial system. We're seeing a clear liquidity crunch, meaning, well, liquidity is drying up. The Fed, in concert with other central banks around the world, are limiting the availability of credit. We've covered this a million times to small businesses, even smaller corporate entities trying to consolidate the system in a wipeout, trying to wipe out small businesses, period, crush the consumer. Thanks, Mitch. And this process is deliberate. It must happen to again consolidate the system, pushing power into fewer hands. And this is again a mechanism that has been used since time immemorial, and how the few have controlled the many since like forever. Give people more power, or a corporation more power, and it corrupts absolutely. And that's what we're seeing here too. So what we need to keep our eyes open for right now is several things, and one of them, this is what just caught my attention today. So our lovely, illustrious, very beautiful man sitting behind the Resolute desk is putting forth a $42 billion initiative to provide internet services for everyone. 42 billion. Where does that come from? We don't have it. And how about the promise that he just made to rebuild the Ukraine here, along with other nations around the world, hundreds of billions of dollars. It's going to be in the trillions to rebuild Ukraine. Where does all that cash come from? What is it really all about? First of all, with regard to social programs, entitlements. This is, again, a method to create slaves from sea to shining sea. Dependency on the system is also part of what's happening. Dismantling the current system, putting it back together another way here, creating more people dependent on the system. We've covered this, I don't know how many times. More reasons must be created urgently to vastly expand the debt. Two ways that they can do this immediately would be, again, more entitlement programs here, expanding entitlement programs, buying votes as well, like they really matter. But it's really about creating slaves to the system, and then, of course, expanding war. All this stuff is catching the headlines lately with Russia and the mutiny, whatever the heck it is. This is all to keep the events over there at the forefront of your mind. So when this does grow, and it will, it has been going on and on with no end in sight. You and I knew this from day one. Thanks again, Mitch. They can vastly expand the debt and also have a scapegoat to blame. Understand, look, when a central bank, any central bank, is promising billions, hundreds of billions, probably in the trillions of dollars, well, definitely in the trillions of dollars, that the last so-called debt ceiling deal that was made by the freak show over there, all it promised to do was pull trillions of dollars more into the now from the future. And this is massively inflationary, but you're not allowed to know that. You're not allowed to know that, okay? Money creation out of nothing to fund whatever the hell they want to fund. Well, it's inflationary. But again, the Fed's in the fight of their life. They are, because that's what they're saying. It's laughable. It's laughable. Lakewood Ranch, yes. Thank you, Irid Cell. I'm bad with names, but I do appreciate it. Yes, bankruptcies, foreclosures. Look, people, we've never seen this before. We are seeing loan delinquencies skyrocket. Debt. Personal debt, household debt, consumer debt, all the things you and I talk about all the time, balloon along with people defaulting, which is all by design, keeping pressure on the people who will submit to anything. They're becoming slaves to the system just as they're meant to be. Uh, anyway, it's so sick. Going back to inflation real quick. Every single legitimate person out there who understands the situation realizes that inflation has nowhere to go but higher. Okay, but of course, you turn on the propaganda ministry, CNBC, Fox Business, Bloomberg. They're parading out freak after freak after freak that's trying to tell you that inflation, some miracle is eventually going to happen. They can't tell you when. Again, along with the Federal Reserve Chairman himself, every other freak, the Lex Luthors and the ghouls, and they've all been wrong. Really, honestly, no, they all know, and they're laughing. They're laughing at us. You realize that they're laughing at us. You see, but we can laugh back because we get it. We know what they're doing. We know what their end game is here. They must continue to inflate. Period. The freaking end. And it's just so sick to me. The other thing that I don't know if you're paying any attention to this whole Fed now, central bank payment system here, based upon, of course, their digital currency. They're trying to sell this to the public as they're selling it like this. Oh, you can get instant payments now. Absolutely. You don't even have to wait a nanosecond. Forget about a day. You're going to get your payments instantaneously. Yes. So they're on a campaign to sell their digital currency, which, again, there's no way out of this. We're all going to have to deal with it. More control. That's what this whole thing is all about. Why do you think, again, they need more slaves to the system? Why we're going to see more entitlement programs, expansion of entitlement programs, expanding wars, and everything else? It's to create slaves. Thank you, Clever Custom Performance. Anyway, I think we're pretty clear on that. And I was just writing this stuff down. Just listen to what I wrote. Without a massive influx of more debt, which we're going to get clearly, the system will implode. It demands it. We all know this. Some of you have been with me for years and years, and you understand that the debt-based system must be fueled relentlessly, constantly. Our politicians, all of them, realize the situation here, along with the central bankers who are at the top of that pyramid. We had an opportunity to take down central banks, but of course that wasn't allowed to happen here. All we need to do you realize listen to what I'm going to say here. Somewhere in the world, if we could end one central bank, Bank of England, European Central Bank, or the Federal Reserve, pick one of these institutions, we would be able to start a domino effect and end central banking, but there would be an enormous amount of economic pain and more than likely death, human loss of human life on a grand scale to end these organizations. But that's the truth here. They will never give up their power. It would take a world war. This is why this whole thing with the BRICS, that should get the hairs on the back of your neck standing up a little bit, because no one's immune to this. You understand? I think most of you probably do. Anyway, so let's just look over here at this market just real quick. So the Dow finished, we're talking ever so slightly in the red. S&P 500 fell about 0.5 percentage point. The NASDAQ took the biggest hit, falling a little over 1%. Gold, silver, and crude are getting bid higher. Imagine my shock. Check my video that I did yesterday. Markets will look ahead. They're going to keep this stuff here is going to get bid up. Is it possible that we're bottoming out? I think so, at least in the short run. Is it going to go up and then drop back down? Probably. But again, commodities are real things. My stance on this. I think people need exposure to commodities for the longer run. The system is insolvent. The system works in a perpetual. Imagine this. Thanks again, Mitch. The system functions in a perpetual vacuum. It can never, ever be made whole. Okay. This is why more cash must be pulled into the now from the future, which is inflationary. And the Fed and other central banks are going to continue to incrementally, the Fed did pause, but incrementally raise rates here. Meanwhile, we're watching bond yields drop. How does that work? Oh, really? Wow. Imagine my shock. Imagine your shock. Relative strength of the dollar down today. 10-year yield dropped significantly, came up a little bit today, though. All right, so we know exactly what we're looking at, people, and we know why we're looking at it too. Anyway, that's pretty much where we stand here. So I want to hear from you. Do you believe that we are going to see a vast expansion of social programs? We're going to see entitlement programs, of course, expand. Another reason to pull cash into the now, expanding war and things, maybe even an alien invasion that's going to cost, of course, require, untold amounts of money. And we go from, again, crisis to crisis to crisis. The only way we can function these days is completely insane. Carlos, thank you. Learn about financial markets. Start off with everything free. With your learning about these markets. Yeah, look, with anything in life, you gotta really immerse yourself in it. And most of the information out there is free. You don't need to buy a damn thing anymore. And you got to get into the market. But let me tell you something about this market. It doesn't make any sense anymore. Again, suppressed rates here have caused a market that does nothing but want to go higher. No such thing as pullbacks or corrections anymore, no matter what the charts are telling you. You want to invest in something, you want to look at large cap companies, large cap exchange traded funds, something that's going to pay you to own it, like a dividend. That's what you need here. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that too. Anyway, that's where we stand. Yes, Thomas, I agree with you. Silver is where it's at 100% in my view, and I will never, ever waver from this. I can't imagine what would cause me to waver from this. It's the most undervalued asset on the planet Earth. I'm talking to you, Jimmy LaRocca. Jimmy, you hear me, Jimmy? My buddy Jimmy, one of my oldest friends. He's addicted to silver. He likes to play with it too. Lick it, kiss it, rub it all over his body. I kind of like doing that too. Anyway, that's where we're at, people, honestly. So just, look, what does it mean for you and me? Are we going to change anything? No. We're going to continue to do what we've been doing. We can't be beaten. Long run, there's no way, in my view. Betting against the debt, becoming our own central bank, understanding. Don't let anything surprise you. Nothing should shock you at all. When you hear about tens of billions of dollars to fund this or another X amount of billions to fund that and whatever it is, it's all part of the same mechanism. We don't have the cash. We're broke. The United States, every single developed nation is a slave to its central bank. But here, none more so. We are the most indebted nation ever in the history of the world. Coco is king. Coco's sleeping right now. I was going to bring him in here, but I couldn't wake him up. He's out there. He just looks so cute. He's curled up in a little ball. Anyway, all right, people, that's pretty much where we stand. I don't know what else there is to say. We got this, you and me. And I want to thank all of you for being here. You're amazing. All of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Those thumbs up are super important. We got about 400 of them. If we can double that, I'd really appreciate that. Anyway, so that's where we stand. And that's it. So what you and I are going to do is we're going to call it a day here. And we are going to reconvene right here in the morning. What do you think? Sounds like a good plan? I think it's a good plan too. All right. Thanks again, Mitch. Magic Meek, look who's here. Perry, Sprinkler Man, all my friends. Alan Greenspan is here. Lovely. We love you. All right. Look, I'll see you in the morning. Okay. Take care.